I want to talk in a little bit more detail about John Kreese's redemption arc coming up in part 3 of Cobra Kai season 6, which is supposed to air this February. Now, first and foremost, I want to say that people who are out there and think that this might not happen, unfortunately, Martin Cove already revealed it months ago during the red carpet premiere of season 6 when all the actors were there, that there was a beautiful redemption arc coming for John Kreese and a bonding with him and Johnny. So it's coming. It is coming. Obviously, Terry Silver has been positioned to be the top villain of the show, at least for right now. Maybe him and Sensei Wolf. Well, maybe not for right now. The show's going to be ending in 5 episodes. But, the final villain, probably till the end, I would say. I would assume. And this whole John Kreese story is going to sort of... It began with Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2. I mean, it didn't begin there, but, it really escalated because we saw Kreese and Silver fight, and Kreese was going to go kill the guy, which is so over the top. I mean, I don't know what to say about it, but I want to talk about the redemption of John Kreese and how I think it's going to go down. So I think Quan is the key. You have to remember a couple things. First of all, John Kreese brought the knife to Barcelona. He was the one that brought the knife to Barcelona. No, he did not use it. No, he did not stab Quan himself. But had that knife not been brought, Quan would not be dead. That's one thing. Another thing, he was irresponsible enough to drop the knife in the middle of a rumble. You would think you would keep it as close as possible to yourself to make sure you don't lose it. Number 3, and also could have hurt him. Number 3, John Kreese is the guy who's been telling Tory and Quan and all those people, no mercy, treating them like soldiers. Sometimes soldiers are on the battlefield, it's kill or be killed. All of these things that he has said to them, where he's taken this karate tournament, he's taken this martial arts tournament that's supposed to be about who the best is, not about killing. And obviously, it's about competition. And John Kreese is very competitive. That's the whole thing behind his character. But the reality of the fact is, the fact that he kept saying those things to Quan obviously got in that kid's head. I mean, he was already kind of a hot shot. He already had anger issues. He was already a guy who was a villain. I mean, he was taunting and playing head games with Robbie. At no point was he, a character that I saw being a good guy. However, that doesn't mean that he deserved to be killed, because the moral of this show and the moral of life is that anybody can be redeemed if they really want to be. So that's a question to think about maybe in the future for like a what if. Like, how do you think, or do you think Quan could have been redeemed? Leave a comment down below and let me know if you think that character could have been redeemed had he not died. So with Kreese like hammering this, it's no mercy, no mercy, no mercy, in the head of Quan and Tory and Johnny Lawrence when he was young, these anger problems and, this sort of fury and this, I guess just this machismo has been beneficial to some to give them the killer edge. But with Quan, it backfired. So I can see that John Kreese, despite being a guy who went to Vietnam, is traumatized from the war, which a lot of people who went to the war got traumatized, especially ones that saw combat like he did. His brain is still in the war. It's sort of like that line in Godzilla -1 where Koichi says, "My war isn't over." You understand what I'm saying? So, and I got to do a video about Godzilla -1 sequel as well. I keep forgetting to do it. There's a lot of information on that, but don't worry about that right now. So I talk to myself while I'm recording, but it's true. I'm telling y'all if you care. So Quan obviously took that to heart and tried to stab Axel, which he was in the wrong for that. Because Axel was a tough martial artist, but he wasn't trying to kill Quan. He was really defending himself in the Rumble. And he was going after Quan because Quan kicked Sam. And he wanted to beat up Quan, but I don't think he tried to kill Quan. Quan's the one that went to the next level with that. So Kreese's Vietnam, trauma, he's going to have to address that. Because now he's got people that look up to him. Quan is one. You've also got Tory. Tory is kind of like Kreese's daughter, like his adopted daughter. And the fact that she lost her mom in part 1 of season 6, which, by the way, I want to repeat what I said before. I do not think that was foul play. I don't. I think she just died of natural causes because she was already sick. And eventually you got to go. And that's what happened. So in that situation with Tory, Kreese is like a father figure to her, but she also knows that he's been manipulating her, but so does Johnny. And eventually Kreese will have to just admit that his way is not the right way. And he has to eventually, I don't know about apologize, but at least come to terms with, all the things that have happened with Tory and Johnny. And I think we're going to see that in season 6, part 3 in the early episodes. I think the guilt's going to eat him up. And it makes sense. I mean, it makes logical sense. He is partially responsible for Quan dying. End of story. You can't deny that. So I think, and I said this in my predictions video, but maybe you didn't see that one. I think that he will make up with Johnny. I think we're probably going to see some flashbacks of young Johnny Lawrence and young John Kreese, maybe even with some de-aging tech, like what we saw Johnny himself actually in a previous episode in season 5. And I think we're going to really see how Kreese became a father figure to Johnny, because before the Karate Kid, don't forget that Johnny Lawrence is a 2-time All Valley champion and with Cobra Kai. So that means that Kreese is absolutely someone who has been a positive influence in Johnny's life, not just a negative influence. This is a layered character. So he's a positive influence in Johnny's life. He helped lead Johnny to a couple championships. And even though his methods may not have worked, Johnny had all those issues with his father and his mother, and Kreese was there for him like Tory. And that's where these characters are going. Kreese is a father figure, but he's a flawed father figure. However, so is Johnny Lawrence, as we've seen in the earlier seasons, and so is Daniel LaRusso in a way. I think of the 3, Daniel's probably the best father. But Johnny, in time, could catch up with him, especially with Robbie and Miguel both being his sons, and, of course, his new baby coming with Carmen, which I'm sure we're going to see born in... I'm sure we're going to see that baby get born. Maybe not literally see the baby get born, but the baby will be born in part 3. And that's Johnny's, second chance at life, at righting the wrongs. You understand what I'm saying? And I think Kreese will get that, too. However, is Kreese going to die? That's the tough one. I think one of 2 possibilities. I think John Kreese is either going to die in season 6, part 3 at some point. Maybe Terry kills him. Maybe Master Quan kills him. Or maybe he just dies of other reasons. Or he ends up becoming good and maybe bringing Tory, maybe adopting Tory. Taking care of Tory and her brother. And raising her right. Raising her tough, but raising her right. I don't know. I don't know if I would trust John Kreese to be a parent just yet, but Tory doesn't have anybody. And at the very least, when all is said and done, I do think Tory and Sam are going to be friends, and I do think that Tory will have the LaRussos as family friends and the Lawrences. So she'll have a group of people, a positive group of people to help her through her issues. And that's something that was even addressed in season 6, part 2, in that scene at the aquarium where Sam is like, I wish you would have talked to me. We would have been there for you. Same thing with Robbie. So she's got, a good support system there when all is said and done. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments. What do you think Kreese's fate is going to be? And Tory's fate? Do you think he's going to die? Do you think he'll adopt her? Let me know. Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2 is coming. So let's hope it's a big one. And it will be a big one. I hope it's great. Take care.